Well, today we got to talk about something that comes up for all of us sooner or later. Look at the day. It's autumn around here. It is, of course, the subject of more relationships. What happens after when you have healed or not to a certain point? I had one very loose relationship, and it came while I was apeshit crazy, is what I say. And I never showed myself to anybody like that before, and I think he was another narc. So, but I did learn, and I gained from the experience. I think of it as like the movie White Oleander, where she at the end packs up all of these different experiences she had with people into a suitcase, into a separate suitcase for each one. And that's really how I think of, how I've begun to think of all my experiences, because I've had so many in this last like 7 or 8 years. I lived a really sheltered life. I was married for over 20 years in the same house. I've had the same house for even longer because I had it first. And this place with this property, I used to call it my soul. Anyway, and then I got separated and divorced, and it's like, holy bloody hell, this shit hit the fan. It's like every experience that I didn't have then is just like come upon me to the tune that I think sometimes that I actually am either dead or in a coma, and I'm accessing all my memory banks because people from the past keep showing up. It's just bloody weird, and like that I would have just maybe even noticed when I was younger, and then all of a sudden they're oh, I remember you from blah blah blah, and I remember them from then, but my whole life they never really acted like they even noticed me. And then all of a sudden, like, they're a huge key player in my life. It's like fucking weird. And that's what I'm going through right now. There's a guy, and split up with his girlfriend in the spring. It's the fall now. And I just started talking to him at my work. And then he's like totally right on to me. And he's a nice guy, but there's things. And I don't know if I'm like just fucking crazy again. I'm starting to think that relationships just make me crazy. That I'm good until I get into it with somebody, because they all start the same. All of a sudden I'm talking about all of the fucking things, the bad things, and like we've spent this past week talking on the phone every night, which is great. The other one like just ignored me like I was a fucking, I said, boy, if this phone goes, just call the store and order it in a pizza and I'll get the message, because it's pretty much what it's come down to. And so this is good, but all I talk about is the cluster B guy, because I wanted him to know why I am the way I am now. Because I am certainly away now. There's no bloody doubt about it. And it's puzzling me even though, because I'm finding that I don't trust myself, because now I'm like hyper. I see red flags, but I don't really call them red flags. There's things that in my past, after I separated from my husband, would be deal breakers. I didn't want anybody that drank a lot. He drinks a lot. I wouldn't want anybody that had anger issues, or at least, let's say, a quick fuse. This guy does. But rather than think of it that way, I'm thinking, am I just overcompensating? I'm thinking, like, I recognize the red flags as something that I wouldn't even considered before, and now I'm considering them because I'm not considering them. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm thinking, am I just being over worrying and over zealous, or whatever you call it, about it? And then I was thinking that when I get into relationships, I give myself, all of myself. You do all, or most of you will notice or realize or identify with that, right? So I wrote in my book would I love somebody? Would I love myself when I'm in love? And I don't mean would me personally love myself. I mean, if I was the partner. I mean, what is there to love? I'm an adoring person who turns to fucking mush, just does what they want, and loses their whole entire life and personality and everything else. So what is there to love but like an empty shell? Empty shell. And the scary part is, and what I really wanted to say is that I recognized it, and I'm being very, very observant this time, and I recognize the minute that I'm starting to, I was going to say connect, but that's not the right word. The right word is more like magnetize, to like latch on, more like. If I hadn't been through all this before, I would have been latched onto this guy for the simple reason he's showing me attention and he's showing me caring. He's being very, very considerate, very, everything that they do in the beginning. And of course, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. It could be at any time now. It could be in a year. So I'm like, how long do you wait to see, for one thing? And, sorry, I'm kicking my dog's ball around. But I feel the physical freaking